Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
And we are free from a Jesuit, full of shit, liberal, piece of crap, communist pope. Not that I didn't love the guy. What? All right, let's just fuck it. You guys know who I am. Let's, Jay, you and I need to talk about this.
Yes, indeed we do.
Okay. Yesterday, we had the Vice President of America, J.D. Vance, surprise everyone and go over to
The Vatican.
Rome and hang out.
He knocked on the door, said, knock, knock.
Yeah, hey, it's
There was
J.D.
no pope to say who's there.
Right. So he shows up unexpected in Rome at the Vatican to see the Pope. They say he meets him, has a wonderful, intellectual, loving, caring conversation. Less than 10 hours later, Pope's dead.
Parrot is gone.
Oh, and Klaus Schwab of the New World Order
Steps down.
he steps down. I think that we have officially launched the let's get rid of the globalist guys.
The offensive is on.
Yes.
Now, look, guys,
absolutely.
for those of you who like to follow a narrative, you know, the globalists have always tried to be, symbolism is their downfall, right? The Pope has to die on Easter Day and right after. It's all a freaking narrative. You remember Jimmy Carter, who stayed on ice for probably 3 or 4 weeks
Yeah.
before they announced the damn thing? This guy's been dead for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
So when JD Vance came knocking on the door,
Yeah. I think what basically happened is he showed up and he's like, while I'm here, I'd love to meet the Pope.
that's right.
What are they going to say? No, Pope's busy. Sorry, Mr. Vice President of the United States of America. The Pope's washing his hair, and tomorrow he's drying it. No.
No.
So J.D. Vance, I guarantee, went in there, and they were like, yeah, Pope's not going to be able to see you. Why not? Yeah, he's dead, and we've been keeping it under wraps for a while. Well,
And JD said, well, you better expose it now, and I won't talk for 24 hours. But
Yep.
after that,
it's
I'm
all
letting
like
him
Donkey
know.
Kong. Yeah, I think whenever the Pope passes on, they release, I think, black smoke, or is it white? I think it's white, isn't it?
white
Right.
smoke.
Right. Well, guess what they didn't release this morning? White smoke.
Uh-huh. So what do you read into that?
I read into that they're full of shit. That he's actually been done. He's actually been dead for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't release the white smoke. He goes, they release the white smoke every day that they don't have a pope. I think is not now. You Catholics, if you're out there, correct me on this because I don't need to be right. I want to be correct.
Well, it is certainly a huge coincidence that the Pope is dead. This Klaus Schwab steps down.
Okay.
Bitcoin starts to rise. He has risen. Bitcoin,
Yeah.
that is. And
Jesus just bought the dip.
Jesus just bought the dip. Guys, you should too. And Michael Saylor followed in Jesus's path and bought $587 million worth of Bitcoin. Now he's well over 500,000 Bitcoin. If that's not commitment, I don't know what is.
He owns, or let's say he actually controls more Bitcoin than the American and Chinese governments combined. So who's really going to be in power if America doesn't get their asses in gear and get them some Bitcoin? Now, heard from a friend up in Washington, D.C. this weekend that they are going to start officially, well, they're going to start the actual purchasing programs in the reserves probably the beginning of next month or the middle of next month. They're basically waiting on the Treasury to set up who we are going to use to hold it. There's an argument that the federal government should have its own area that holds our assets that are actually cryptos. I agree with that because you don't want like Gemini or like Coinbase or something like that holding government assets that are easily held.
We the people's assets.
Right. And it's with everything going on. And I mean, China, all I heard on Bloomberg all this morning is how China's winning the tariff war. Folks, I have several friends who live in China, and China is not doing good. One of their largest friggin' banks this morning basically went under. Now, they didn't frame it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They are basically saying that the government has actually came into the bank. They're assessing the bank. That sounds a whole lot like, oh shit, we got issues. Somebody get here. Someone help us fast. Because people, a lot of the products that they make holds up about everything we actually purchase from them holds up about 18% of their economy. Now, that's a lot when you're talking China. And what you have to really realize is all of those are linked together. Now, you could say, well, this is made in China, so, you know, the only ones getting hurt are the people who make cups. No.
Nope.
You have several other suppliers who sell to the cup company. So you have plastics, you have ink, you have whatever the fuck this is, I guess.
Petrochemicals,
Yeah.
all kinds of other
So
products.
there's a whole supply chain that just got a chunk of their revenue cut.
You know, great point on the China equation. Look, China needs our consumers a lot more than we need Chinese products. So even though you see a pervasive, you know, all the little trinkets and things around that you see are made in China, but the reality is that China needs our consumer base. We don't necessarily need their consumer base because our GDP does not rely on Chinese people buying American goods.
Yep.
But China's GDP, the gross domestic product, heavily relies on American consumers buying their products. So if you understand that balance of power, from there on, it's fairly clear who's holding a better hand at this poker game. And trust me, folks, I would not be playing poker against President Trump. It's not going to work out well for you.
Right. Let's put it this way. Let's imagine you're a landlord and you own a property that you have rented out. Now, you're a wealthy landlord, let me rephrase that. You're a landlord who has a loan on that house. So you have obligations to service that loan. Now your person who's renting from you, they give you a call and say, hey, I'm moving out. I'm not going to pay rent this month. Who's in more trouble? Is it the renter who's just walking away and just going to find another house? Or is it the landlord who has a loan on that property that is now no longer bringing in income?
Correct.
That's where the Chinese government is.
Great analogy.
It's because they got a lot of bills all down that fucking supply chain.
The weakness in the Chinese banks will start to show very quickly. And those cracks will widen very quickly. At the same time, the Bitcoin adoption by the US government, I think President Trump is looking to replace Powell.
Absolutely.
And he wants to get a person who actually is more in line with the vision for what President Trump has for America than the guy who has been a part of the old money world.
Yeah, what I think's going on, well, I know what the overall plan is. They're getting rid of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
So who he swaps out with is going to be who's in charge of closing the shop down.
Well, rumor has it that this fella called Kevin Warsh, he is a young man, relatively speaking. Kevin did his MBA at MIT. He's a Stanford guy, so he's got the pedigree there. He worked for Morgan Stanley in mergers and acquisitions for many years, heading up that division. And then he worked for the Bush Jr. from 2002 to 2006 as an economic advisor. He was the youngest governor of the Federal Treasury system, the Federal Reserve, ever, at the age of 35. And so, he has the balance of youth. He's got the academic credentials. He's got the business experience, and he understands how government works from the inside. Seems like a rational candidate. Seems like a person who is loyal to President Trump. And I think loyalty above all else is a extremely valuable asset to have in this time of transition. So anyway, that's, I think, one of the names on the docket that President Trump will be looking at.
What if, let me just run something by you. What if Trump would appoint as the Federal Reserve Chair head? What if he were to appoint the guy running the Treasury Department right now?
That would also be great, because that would indicate a direct convergence of the two.
Yep.
And that is what it should lead to. The Treasury is where the wealth should be. And once the money printing of those 18 computers, that stops, it's the Treasury. The wealth of a nation is in its Treasury. Not the emperor has no clothes and let's just go print some more paper and appease the masses, let them eat cake.
Yep.
That rubbish has to stop.
The reason I say that, and what is that guy, who is the Treasury Secretary?
Okay, I'll find it for you while I'm at it.
There was no law against having him as the Federal Reserve head and running the Treasury. Plus, if you look at who he is and what he's done,
Mm-hmm.
he helped.
Oh, that Scott Bessent.
Yes,
He was confirmed to the Senate on January 27th. So, yeah, Scott's a good guy. He's
and do you know his history?
a little bit.
Let me break it down for you. This guy knows how to destroy currencies. He actually helped that old guy who's almost
Greenspan.
no. God,
Soros Fund.
yes, George Soros.
He comes from the inside. I see. He was
He's who helped George Soros
during that
take out
the UK currency.
Yes.
Yes.
So he knows how to shut a currency down and relaunch something new. Because after George Soros and him actually took them out, he helped work on creating the euro.
That's right.
And so he knows
seen
how
that
to
movie before.
transition from an old currency into a new currency. And with that knowledge and him running the Federal Reserve and running the Treasury, like you said, he can easily just roll it right into the Treasury Department.
Right. He executes the going forward. Trump brings in the hatchet man to shut down just like he did with the education secretary, right? I mean, her only job was to make sure it closes down, and she has no job after that, right? So she's done. The transition is done.
And the Treasury secretary, he flat out said many a times, we need to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
It needs to go away. It needs to be absorbed into the Treasury Department.
And Scott Bessent, I was looking at this particular clip of him on X, and I have a great deal of respect for him because he said, when I was on the other side, and I would hear President Trump say fake news, I wouldn't believe it, but now I see it from the inside, and I can tell you that he doesn't say it strongly enough how fake this damn thing is. So he's actually seen it on both sides, and that positioned him as a very strong candidate to transition into the new world, into the good new world, into the world of digital currency that is owned by the people, that is free, not the CBDCs, which are another layer of control for the globalists. But they certainly seem to be on their back foot right now. And now is the time to give the 1-2 counterpunch and keep at it until they're down.
Well, I think now that they got rid of this Pope and Klaus Schwab has resigned, they're basically taking out all of the head players right now.
We got to take out Soros.
Oh, I honestly believe he's also, if not dead, damn near close to it.
Well, that idiot son of his is trying to,
Yeah, but they can wipe him out in no time.
The young lion trying to show what he can do.
Yeah,
he's just a cartoon.
Oh, I've heard interviews of this guy. He's a pussy.
He's absolutely.
Yeah, we can slap him and go away, son. You bother me. And it's because we have destroyed, and I mean destroyed, the funding system for the global elites. Because
USAID is gone.
Yes, USAID.
The free gravy train has stopped.
And now they're going after Harvard.
Did you hear that? Harvard almost, I mean, they had to borrow $1.2 billion last month alone to keep paying their bills. And if
They
they
have
keep
a
going,
huge endowment.
it's supposedly a $50 billion or whatever, $60 billion endowment, and yet they're borrowing money. I'm telling you, this thing has deeper roots than you think. And
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if they file bankruptcy. And I know that's a forward-looking statement, but these guys are in deep shit.
Yeah, because you have to remember these actual endowments, what are they holding? They're holding all of the valued assets of the old system.
Correct.
And as that all goes to hell in a handbasket with the Pope, he's probably carrying the fucking
What's it called? A
handbasket.
systemic risk, like 2008?
Yeah.
When one domino falls.
Yeah.
And this time it's happening in the correct direction.
Yeah, and you have Harvard, you have Yale, you have
Columbia.
Yeah, there's also one I think called Brown.
Yeah,
I think that's a mostly black college. I think. I think.
No.
I really don't know what universities.
There are HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities, but I don't think those guys have the kind of endowments, because if you look at Hampton, for example, or the one that Kamala Harris or whatever went to, those are.
I don't think
that's a different
her.
Harvard. They go by Harvard.
Yeah, I don't think they claimed her. They were like, don't put that dumb bitch on us.
She's really dumb as shit.
Oh, she is.
And one of the next to AOC, I think those two are competing for the retard spot.
That's what. How in the hell was she ever chosen?
She wasn't.
Because
she never got a vote. Not in the Democratic convention either.
Well, I mean, even as vice president, who looked at her and went, you know what we need? We need a woman that's willing to suck a dick up to the top.
Probably Soros.
And I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because that's all she did.
That was her background. What do you think Willie Brown did in San Francisco?
Willie Brown.
I was in San Francisco at that time. What do you think she was doing? You think she was writing policy papers?
No. Well,
I don't think so.
Let's just say she wasn't working at a desk. She was working under the desk.
Most likely.
Yes. And that.
If you call a spade, how it is. I mean, people don't like it. Go whatever yourself. It's just how
everyone knows it.
Exactly. I mean, it's like the Monty Python, right? I mean, you see the dead parrot. The parrot is dead, but no, it's just resting. You can see a lie in its face, and you keep on pretending, it's not happening. And this whole tis but a scratch, and his arms are gone, his legs are gone. Tis but a scratch. It's only a flesh wound.
Dead. It's just a scratch, folks.
It's just a scratch, folks.
He has a little tickle.
Yeah. He doesn't breathe. Tickle. He lies there like a vegetable.
He's blue.
He's not dead. He's turned blue. So guys, it's time to wake up and just look at reality in the face and say, hey, here's what my God-given intellect says is happening, and trust that more than any other narrative, because these leftists are going to try to tell you to not believe in your own eyes, to not believe in the God-given brain that you have.
Yeah. It's so obvious, because as soon as I woke up this morning, I originally got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I saw, big announcement, Pope dies, and I'm like, really? Because he apparently just had a wonderfully intellectual conversation.
That's right.
And yesterday, when they actually talked about the vice president and the Pope meeting, they said the Pope seemed unusually vibrant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so he was vibrant.
Right.
Then he went and laid down and died.
That's it. What's up?
And you realize how they've never explained what he has or had. They just said he had breathing issues.
Yeah, it's called dying.
Yeah, it's called lack of breathing.
Lack of breathing issue
is an issue.
Yeah. but in an uncorrelated, perhaps unrelated manner, you know that idiot president or prime minister of UK, Keir Starmer.
Yeah, let's talk about him and then his boyfriend,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Lord Ali, the little Muslim guy, who they've got videos of them making out in the 10 Downing Street and other places.
Yeah, what the hell is with people having sex in government buildings?
Well, that's just one part of it. What the hell with all these so-called leaders of the European Union? They're all pedophiles or gay or married to dudes. I mean, look at that French guy, Macron.
Like we said,
isn't there?
His wife is either the ugliest woman in the world or the prettiest man.
Well,
I don't think, because
she's got a big Adam's apple.
Adam's apple.
And like that Michelle Obama.
And she's built like a brick shit house.
No kidding.
I mean, she's
Have you seen her hands?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wouldn't want to shake hands with her. It'd crush me. Like a walnut.
Yeah, that is one beefy woman.
Yep.
If she's
what's with these leaders? Obama's wife. Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, when she's doing those calisthenics and exercises, I mean, it's quite a sight to watch.
Woman, you need to tuck that or tape it or something down.
Man,
because that thing's a swinging.
Duct tape ain't holding it anymore.
And to be honest, I was jealous. I was like, damn. If I had something swinging like that, I'd show it off. And I would swing that over my shoulder or something. I don't know what I'd do, but...
So, back to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
On that happy note.
Back to Bitcoin.
But guys, the globalists seem to be sort of reeling on their back foot right now. Yeah. And at the same time, Bitcoin is surging. This is not a coincidence, okay? This is not just something that just happens. You have to look deeper into this. There are big forces, geopolitical forces, economic forces that are in play right now. And we're starting to feel that push against this huge rock where the breakout can happen, quite likely happen. There are several, both technical analysts as well as fundamental analysts who are saying that Bitcoin has an opportunity right now at this point to break out to, probably well over 100 or more within this month. And then, so that is not an unlikely situation. And, before the end of the year, people are saying about the 150, 180 range is a rational, no nonsense kind of a situation that can happen. So hold on to that Bitcoin and really, keep investing into it like we have been doing with the Bitcoin purchase program.
Yep.
We encourage everybody to participate. We got a few more calls this morning of people wanting to participate in that. So, guys, you remember, we are buying Bitcoin on behalf of our members, no KYC, every single week.
Yep.
So if you haven't sent us the money, if you've received your loans, do that. Do that right now. The price is still right.
Yeah, it's hang on one second. We have a word from the sponsor.
Introducing the Liberty Laptop, your gateway to online anonymity. Engineered with your privacy in mind, the Liberty Laptop comes equipped with cutting-edge security features, ensuring that your data remains yours and yours alone. No more worries about your personal information being shared without consent. Say goodbye to prying eyes and third-party snoops. Enjoy your online freedom with advanced privacy settings, protecting your every digital move, all at your fingertips. With the Liberty Laptop, you control what others see and don't see. We customize your privacy settings and let only what matters most to you be shared. No more concerns about unwarranted surveillance. We put the power back in your hands. No unwanted access through the laptop's camera and microphone. Powered by the latest technology, the Liberty Laptop ensures performance while respecting your personal boundaries. The Liberty Laptop. Your control. Your privacy. Your world. Visit calixsolutions.io to experience true personal freedom today.
Beautiful.
Ding dong, the Pope is dead and Bitcoin's going up.
I like that jingle.
All right. Jay, what's our official price right now?
We are up at 80. Hold on. What did I just see? Almost 88,350.
Yep, that's exactly what I have. 88,350. It's jumped up $1,000 in the last like 15 or 20 minutes or something.
So we're almost more than almost 4%, and this is exploding right now. So it's exploding to the upside, folks. This is a very good sign.
Absolutely.
This is a very good sign.
This, I think, because if you, now this goes back a while, if you remember some of the things that were said when Trump was asked what would his second term look like, he would talk a lot about tariffs and, working out, bringing the jobs back and all that. Well, what else he would actually talk about is we need a new world order. We need to replace the old world order with something that's honest and true and represents the people of the world. And what a lot of people don't realize is the president of China, and this will eventually come out. He's on Trump's side because he knows Trump is actually taking out the corrupt globalists who have screwed China and held China hostage in certain ways. And Trump has basically told China, North Korea, Iran, and not the CIA leadership of those countries, but the real grassroots leadership. Hey, we're going to go through some hard times, but we have to rip the cancer of the global system out before we can reset. And that's what Trump is actually doing with all of the tariffs. He's reset the global economy where he can remove the U.S. Federal Reserve note and replace it with an American dollar. And it's not going to happen overnight. You don't want it to because it would be a shit show. But the Russia, China, a lot of El Salvador's involved in this. This has actually been a plan for a while.
A basic pillar of this plan is peace. Like we talked about before, there's a war economy that feeds the globalists, and there's a peace economy. So I think President Trump really understands that at a very foundational level, that bringing peace amongst nations is going to create that environment which does two things. It redirects money for growth for the economy of the world. At the same time, it removes the source of funding for the CIAs, the deep state, and the bad guys who feed off of war, who feed off of death, who feed off of human trafficking, feed off of drugs, feed off of organ harvesting. Those are all areas that are far more lucrative, by the way, than the cocaine trade. And, and these guys have been making money on that. So when President Trump really starts to bring peace, he's going to get support from a wide, range of countries. And this peace economy is what it's about, especially in the Middle East, peace with China. And the reason is it's symbiotic. These are two big economies that are the yin and the yang. They must coexist long term.
Yeah, it's and Trump knows that. That is his approach. Look, we don't need war. Let's actually make a deal, a win-win here. That's what he did over with Rocket Man. He was like, hey. Look, you have some nice land here. You got some beaches. Let's put some hotels. Let's get some tourism going.
That done Dennis Rodman to be.
Wouldn't that be a great appointment if he appointed Dennis Rodman? It's like,
oh man, Rodman was a character. For those of you who remember him and Michael Jordan, they were great. I used to live in Newport Beach a long time ago, and he was down there. He had this crazy Scarab boat, which was like 62 feet with like 8 engines in the back. Wow. He was loud at everything he did.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was colorful on the ground playground.
And he was good.
He was good. Very good.
Actually, let's be honest. Michael Jordan didn't really like him. But actually, Michael Jordan once said, you know what? Love him or hate him, he will get you 10, 11 rebounds a game, no problem.
That's right.
Because he'd literally show up drunk and play the game and totally rock it out, get his rebounds in, then head right back out to the clubs right after the games. And I mean, Michael Jordan, who is just a legend. And actually, I have a question for you. How much do you know about like old MPA, like 80s and mid-90s?
Not much, other than Larry Bird and...
Yes, that's what I was about to bring up. Everyone says that the greatest of all time
Celtics
is actually Michael Jordan. I would argue Larry Bird was the greatest of all time. He would not only shoot on you and make it, he would tell you what he was going to do.
And then still do it.
And then do it. All right, I'm going to break left. I'm going to pause. I'm going to fake. And then I'm going to fade away. And he'd do it. And the guy would be like, fuck, he just told me what he was going to do. And I still couldn't stop him.
He was also a great ambassador for the sport. I mean, he was just this man you could respect. He brought honor to the game. Not like these cartoons today who have dishonored the game, who have dishonored because of their kneeling down when the national anthem is being sung.
Yeah, that shit.
These guys who
that would not have played out in the old days.
Yeah, so that's.
Yep.
Anyway,
so folks, basically, we're actually going to wrap up the show here pretty soon. Is because I'm actually on my way up to our club up in Massachusetts. We have an event next Saturday, and on Sunday I am doing a lecture or something at I think it's a Massachusetts Republican something or another, and I'm telling you, folks, it's official. We are now in, like you said earlier, we are now offense. And not just with the tariffs and all that. Now that the Pope is gone, because people don't realize how much power and authority comes out of the Vatican. Yeah. That's in certain ways, that is the heart of the globalist system, because they have the Vatican Bank. And there's a lot of gold in the Vatican Bank.
In the tunnels.
In the tunnels. And there's a lot of secrets in the archives.
Correct.
And I think that we're going to have some things coming out here because it's going to be a war on who is the next pope. Because I know of people in St. Louis who are pretty high up Catholic priests and bishops and the
cardinals.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
And they are going to go to war to make sure they don't get another hymn.
Yeah.
They're going old school. And there is a cardinal out of St. Louis. And I have a feeling that he might be chosen as the next pope. I'm just putting it out there, folks. If I am correct, I myself am going to impress myself.
That's great.
Because this guy, I can't remember his name. On Wednesday, I'll actually ask Patrick, because he's very knowledgeable on
that stuff.
There
Vignano and a couple of other guys have been very outspoken, and there's some real truths being revealed, and you can see, when these truths get revealed, look at this. All the narrative of this Ukraine with all these guys with their little Ukraine flags in their bios, it just disappeared, like never even happened, right? All of these things just disappear.
Let's address this real quick. See, it's odd it's been prophesied. This is the last pope, and now the last war begins. Well, we also know that there have been writings that Trump was going to be the last president. And if you look at some old, and I mean some Sanscripts, things are kind of lining up here, kind of suspiciously familiar to those who have read Revelations, because we have a lot lining up, and I think I'm going to do a show on it, because it's going to be a long show. It would have to be at least probably 2 or 3 hours, because you can't just go, hey, here's what it says in the Bible. You have to, because it's in Jewish text, it's in Sanscripts, it's in some of it is even linked with the Quran. And have you ever read the Quran?
No.
My God. And I'm not saying nothing bad about Muslims, but they basically, their savior crawls out of a well and then tries to destroy the whole world with evil.
Then marries a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what I would picture as a loving religion. But hey, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it's a nice guy.
It's how we got to look at it. But before we wrap up, can I give a quick update to folks?
Yes.
Okay, guys, I'm going to remind you of all these amazing programs that you have available to you through your private membership at this club. We have the loan program that's doing wonderfully. Many of you have benefited from it, and you have received your loans against your good credit. We have the Bitcoin purchase program, which has been going strong every single week. We're getting more and more new members and old members who are putting money into the pool, and we are doing a no KYC Bitcoin purchase, so that's going great. We have a new program that we introduced last Thursday, the Bitcoin plus Beef program, which gives your family for $5,000 the purest, cleanest beef from Montana and from Texas, non-mRNA jabbed, a whole year's supply for a family of 4. It comes in 4 installments every quarter. You get about 120, 125 pounds of the finest beef. We give you a refrigerator along with your first purchase, which can store 150 pounds in it. And not only that, with every purchase, you get a token, a Bitcoin beef herd token. And as investments come in and as these baby cows grow and we make a profit at the end, a percentage of the profit will come back to you. So not only do you get the whole year's beef, you also get a percentage of the profit, which becomes the value of your token. And as the herd grows, as the herd keeps getting larger, the Bitcoin beef herd, your token gains in value. We are tokenizing the food supply, and we're doing it right here in our club. Larry Fink and BlackRock, all these guys talk about tokenizing. We're doing it. We're right here on the forefront, trying it out with our new members and our existing members. So there are more new programs coming. We'll keep you apprised of that. But do call that 941-413-6920 number if you need a loan, if you want to buy Bitcoin, if you want to have clean beef for your family for the entire year.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to call us. We are here. We're waiting to help you and grow our community. So love you guys.
And one more thing, Jay has his show on Thursday usually. We don't know if he'll have his show this Thursday because he might be in El Salvador wrapping up one of our working on one of our hotel deals and also getting information on our bank, wink, wink, and other things that shall be announced in the future. And I will be traveling. Now, every day I'm on the road, I'm going to shoot a show from the road. So every morning you'll see me. I'll be in the RV. Hopefully I'll look good. Hopefully I won't oversleep. But I will definitely be doing a show all week. And everyone, if you have questions on our loans or anything like that, give us a call, 941-413-6920. And we have opportunities in actual mining now. We can help you invest in getting some miners and making some profit off of mining Bitcoin. Because Jay has helped us and hooked us up with some great relationships, and we've inked a few contracts with people, so it's legal beagle, and all of our I's are crossed and our T's are dotted.
It's ready to scale.
Yep. And that's it, folks. Everyone have a great day, and let's all take a moment and mourn the Pope. There we go. Okay. See you guys tomorrow, same time. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Oh, hang on a second. I got to set this. I'm such a pro.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.